All right, so let's talk about how we can actually assess intelligence. Western attempts to assess differences in intelligence began more than a century ago. The English scientist Francis Galton had a fascination with measuring human traits, and when his cousin Charles Darwin proposed that nature selects successful traits through the survival of the fittest, Galton wondered if it would be possible to measure natural ability and encourage those of high ability to mate with one another. In 1884, at the London Exposition, more than 10,000 visitors received his assessment of their intellectual strengths based on things like reaction time, sensory acuity, muscular power, and body proportions. But he had no reliable results whatsoever from this, so it wasn't a good test. But it was the first time that anybody had ever tried to do intelligence testing. The modern intelligence testing movement started at the turn of the 20th century when French psychologist Alfred Binet began assessing intellectual abilities. And together with Theodore Simon, Binet developed an intelligence test containing questions that assessed mental age and also helped predict children's future progress in the Paris school system. That's what he wanted to do. The test sought to identify French school children that needed special attention. But Binet and Simon made no assumption about the origin of intelligence. Louis Terman believed that intelligence was inherited, and like Binet, he believed that his test, the Stanford Binet test, could guide people towards appropriate opportunities. William Stern derived the intelligence quotient, or the IQ, for Terman's test. And the IQ is simply a person's mental age divided by chronological age multiplied by 100. And during the early part of the 20th century, intelligence tests were sometimes used in ways that, in hindsight, even their designers regretted. For example, documenting a presumed innate inferiority of ethnic and immigrant groups not sharing an Anglo-Saxon heritage. With Terman's help, the U.S. government developed new tests to evaluate both newly arriving immigrants and World War I Army recruits. And this was the world's first mass administration of an IQ test, or intelligence test. To some psychologists, the results indicated that the inferiority of people not sharing their Anglo-Saxon heritage. But what we found out later was that the test was biased towards people with an Anglo-Saxon heritage. So, of course, if you're not Anglo-Saxon, then you're not going to be able to do well because the test isn't designed for you.